Hello, everybody. Jamarcus here, and I'm here with the second week of heavyweight for the Mafia Draft Championship. We're facing Iger, who has possibly the fattest team I've ever faced in draft. We got Lugia, Petrarunt, Corviknight, Alamomola, Shaman, Belly Bolt. How are we breaking Mola, Shaman, and like Petrarunt and Corv? I don't know. Well, I do know, and that's the team I brought, as you'll see. What am I scared of? King Gambit with Terra. Why is it allowed? I told Kiyomi to ban it, he didn't. So we get the pleasure of facing it. Terra Dark when I have not the most sturdy dark resists. Uh, I mean, Quaquaval and Samurott resist the dual stab, but they're both weak to Terra Fairy, which is very good into my team. But Terra Dark is also just instantly disables like Kyogre from sweeping or Iron Bundle from sweeping, because Terra Dark Fallen 5 Sucker Punch just kills them. I think, I don't actually know the rule. It does a lot of damage, is what I mean. Terrifier, probably not showing up. Don't have any Wisp user, and I have all water types. So what on my team looks good? Their water resists aren't that good. I mean, they're great actually. They have Mola and Shaman, but they're not bulky enough on both sides to where they can handle Kyogre and Palafin. If they bring Max F AV Mola, sure they can handle Specs Kyogre, kind of, but that means they're dying to 2 wave crashes. So same thing with Shaman. It's not going to be able to beat both. So that's what I'm building around. Let's look what I brought. First up, Quaquaval. This is my win con. I don't know why I put it on the team first. But I was just staring at this matchup for like an hour and being like, okay, how do I win the game? Sure, I have breakers, but Quaquaval sucks. It's never going to do anything to Petrarunt plus Mola. And even like Belly Bolt. It's useless. And then I cooked up this set. Covert Cloak. The idea is that I don't get, mostly that I don't get poisoned by Petrarunt Malignant Chain, and I can just Sword Dance on it forever. Roost to stay healthy, and Aqua Step plus Close Combat hits everything, kind of. I'm Moxie if I don't get +6, but I'm expecting to. I have enough speed just to outspeed Shaman after an Aqua Step, pretty slow. So I'm going to be slower than Lugia, and definitely slower than Gren. And like Scarf Shaman, which I'm terrified of, I'm going to need, I think, 3 Aqua Steps to be faster than that, but I think I can get the Aqua Steps up, because I'll be setting up in front of Petrarunt and Mola, who I can't, or they don't do much to me, so I just step on them and get my speed up. That's Quaquaval. Now, my whole team loses to Scarf, Shaman, clicking Seed Flare, so I have Max F Toxapex with Covert Cloak, so that again I don't get the F drops from Seed Flare and I can comfortably take 2 without it forcing me to Terra. Because if I Terra, then suddenly I'm weak to Aeroblast, although I'm weak to Psychic anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. But becoming a Grass type's really bad into Petrarunt, and like a bit worse into Corv, I guess. I have Acid Spray so that I can 1v1 Petrarunt, otherwise Surf is not doing enough damage. And then I have Haze for like set up Lugia, Battle Bond, Gren, kind of Sword Dance, King Gambit, and like if they bring up like a setup Corv, this also is pretty strong into that, and Recover because Recover. Next up, Kyogre. I need Timid because I want to be faster than Petrarunt because I think they're going to be fast Petrarunt. I have 2 things at 85. Specs, Water Spout will sometimes 2-hit KO Max F AV Alamomola, and it OHKOs or 2-hit KOs the rest of the team. I am slower than 4 Pokemon, gotta watch out for that. I also have Surf if I get chipped. Ice Beam is there for Shaman, but Shaman doesn't take the hits that well from the water moves anyways. And then I have Thunder for Mola if they bring F AV, and I feel like predicting. Also kind of nice for Lugia to get some paras. But gonna be clicking water moves for the most part on Kyogre here. I didn't have enough choice items yet, so I brought Choice Scarf Iron Bundle. This is mostly here to have something faster than Scarf Shaman and Battle Bond Gren, although I don't think Gren's gonna show up. I think it's pretty bad into me. Even if it gets its Battle Bond, it needs chip on a lot of things, and I have against Scarf Bundle, which is very bringable. I have a lot of priority and a lot of special bulk. that Gren was going to struggle with, so I don't think it's going to show up. But I do have Scarf Bundle that's faster than it, just in case. Hydro Pump, Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, Flip Turn. I had Encore for the longest time, but I decided to switch to Ice Beam because in Mox I lost something to Shaman, and then I didn't have anything to revenge kill it because Freeze Dry wasn't doing enough. So I threw an Ice Beam. Should I have taken off Encore, or should I have taken off something else? I don't know. But Encore is what ended up getting taken off. Next up, not enough choice items. Choice Band, Paladin. Max speed so that I can speed tie the base 100s. And just triple water move, close combat, really standard set. Probably never going to click close combat, but it's there. Wave Crash for the most part, I'm clicking Flip Turn, maybe on the first turn I bring in Palafin to get out. And then Jet Punch is there too for priority. Helps against the Gambit late game so I don't get swept by Sucker Punch. And then last up is Samurai Hisui. Spikes are really good into this team. Helps a lot into Pecharunt if they bring AV Mola or not boots on Shaman or Belly Bolt. Spikes really help out. Also helps out for Gambit, helps it get in range of Jet Punch. I have Flip Turn to pivot out. It's kind of a slow pivot into Lugia. Seize the Sledge, get up Spikes, knock off, hopefully AV on Mola, or maybe something on Shaman. And I have Aqua Jet last, just to pick off something that's weakened, like a Lugia or King Gambit trying to Sucker Punch. I had, what's it called? Razor Shell at first instead of Flip Turn, but I found that leading Samurott into Lugia is really scary, because if they're just weakness policy, I don't really want to click a Dark move into them. I'd rather Flip Turn to break the multi-scale and go into something else. So that's why Flip Turn's there and not like a strong water move. What do I expect to see? Lugia for sure, King Gambit for sure, Alamo Mola for sure. I think those three are the most likely. Shaman's really good into me. I think it's going to show up. Then I think like Patch Corv are good. And Belly Bolt's also pretty bringable. I don't think Gramble or Flygon are showing up. Although Terra Water Gramble with Intimidate, you could argue that's decent into Palafin and probably still gets 2 KO'd in the rain though. Alright, what do we see? We see the Belly Bolt, we see no Greninja makes sense. No Pecharunt, which is one of the things I wanted to set up Quaquaval Valon, which is a little unfortunate. But they bring both the offensive water checks. Is that the right way to call them? I don't know. They bring the grass type and the electric type. They do bring the Corv as well. Seeing Belly Bolt was tough because I didn't bring either of my electric communities. People told me to bring them in Mox, but I was like, no, I like the 6 I have. So I didn't bring them. Belly Bolt is really free for them to lead and just click full switch. It beats pretty much everything, except for Specs Kyogre. And I figured, okay, they didn't bring Flygon, which could be faster than Kyogre. And I want to figure out if this is AV Aloe. So if they lead Aloe, I can switch. Although I think Aloe leads kind of weird. If they lead Scarf Shaman, I have Talk Specs for it. If they lead Lugia, I'll probably just click Thunder into them. So Specs Kyogre, pretty safe lead, I think. They do lead the Belly Bolt, as I expected. And yeah, this thing would have beaten every other lead. So leading Kyogre was great here. And I'm going to be faster than this. I can just Water Spout. This thing's dead. Everything else gets 2 KO'd. Except for Mola if they're Max Speed F AV. Or maybe like Max Speed F AV Shaman, but that's not a set. Let's see what happens. Do they sack Belly Bolt? They don't. They go into Shaman. And it does not take it. 58%. That's Max Speed F leftovers. So if they were AV, they would have taken 2. But seeing that they're leftovers tells me, 1, they're not AV, which means that they're Max Speed F. Had I not seen an item, I would have assumed Assault Vest, and then they could have been faster than me. But because they're Max Speed F, I know I'm faster than this thing, and I can just Water Spout for the kill. Down goes Shaman. That's fantastic. So it wasn't Scarf. My Tox packs with Max Speed F Covert Cloak, not very useful anymore, but I guess I won't be getting like Psychic Speed F drops from Lugia at least. Speaking of Lugia, in it comes. I switched here because I have Samurott as my answer to this. In hindsight, I probably could have just stayed into Water Spout. Water Spout is 50% of this thing through multiscale. If they Calm Mind in front of me, okay, there's 33%. Now that multiscale is broken, they can Calm Mind again. My Water Spout's doing 50% now. Which, now they're no longer getting to multiscale. and they're pretty much forced to recover forever. They would stall out all my water spouts, but I would stall out most of their recovers as well. There's a world where I could have stayed in. They could never get up more than 2 calm mines. They would die by then. But I decided to just go Samurai instead and keep my Kyogre healthy. Because I can just bring this thing in later, unlike a Mola. If they ever click Wish on Mola, I can just bring in, if assuming they're Fizz Def and not Spidef, because I'm assuming the Shaman was their Kyogre switch in, and they're going to be Fizz Def Mola for Palafin. But I just bring in this thing. They calm mine, not surprising. I flip turn here. Again, I do not want to activate weakness policy. It would be terrible for me if I do, especially because I don't have Encore Iron Bundle. Out comes the Thunderbolt, does 45% nothing. It tells me they're no special attack, which means they're probably max speed. Max speed, max HP. And judging off the slip turn damage, yeah, they're max HP, but not max defense. I bring in Palafin to get it active, figuring I have Toxapex as a decent switch into this. They just Thunderbolt, doesn't do much damage, and I can just haze this thing. I Terra, because I think they're going to click Psychic here. But in hindsight, Psychic wouldn't have even killed me. Neither does Aeroblast. That was probably a roll. Very nice that I got it. I haze. And I thought about saving Toxapex here, but it was kind of here for Scarf Shaman, and that is not a problem anymore. So I end up sacking Toxapex here. I bring in Samurott, figuring I can click a pretty free Ceaseless Edge. Their only removal is Defog Corv, which if they want to click Defog, sure, that's fine. I can just bring in Kyogre and get a kill, especially now that Lugia's multi-scale is broken. So in comes Mola. I see Ceaseless Edge, and their Rocky Helmet max defense. That's fine. I can just go hard into Iron Bundle. Not much they can do to me. They wish, that's fine. I can just freeze dry, threaten this thing out. In comes Corv. I can see what this thing's set is, their pressure, and their max Pidef, and they get the wish back, of course. That's fine. I can go into Samurott here. U-turn will not kill Samurott here. I made sure to calc. And they set up a light screen. That's fine. I can just click Ceaseless Edge again. Or I think I click Knockoff here, actually. Yeah, I knock off the helmet on Mola, which is really nice for Palafin and Quaquaval in the late game. This thing now dies to any hit from Lugia. A little unfortunate, but at least I've broken its multi-scale and I've gotten up a spike. I click Ceaseless Edge again because I don't think they can kill me unless they have Play Rough. But they just flip turn out, that's fine. I can save this as a sack. Or just sack it right now, which I do. But I have 2 spikes up. And I can go Palafin, which kills this thing. Or it does a lot of damage. It does more damage than Recover. What I failed to consider was that this is faster than me. It can just get back up to multi-scale. And suddenly I'm not doing enough damage to out-damage the Recovers. So I could stay in here and use all the Recovers, but I'm also taking Recoil, which I don't want to. So I do it for a couple turns, but I switch out here into Iron Bundle on Recover. And I thought Encore was a pretty obvious play for me here. So I click Flip Turn, even though Ice Beam's not doing anything to this anyways. So I Flip Turn. If they want to go Spidef Corv, it's also better for me to Flip Turn. So I Flip Turn here, hoping they would respect the Encore and switch. They don't. So I go Kyogre here because I need Quaquaval and Palafin a little healthy. And they don't beat Lugia anyways. So I go Kyogre to just start spamming Thunder and try to paralyze this thing. The Thunderbolt doesn't do anything. They Calm Mind, that's fine. Thunder still does a lot of damage. No para. They recover. Barely don't get back to multi-scale, which is nice. I Thunder again. Do a para. Still no para. Unfortunate. And then they just switch to Belly Bolt. I thought about switching this turn. I figured they didn't want to keep making that play. So I thought about switching, but no, I didn't. And I just click Thunder into Belly Bolt. They get Electromorphosis. It means they're not static. That is huge. It means I can be a lot safer with Quaquaval and Palafin. But I don't have a switch in right now. Thunderbolt just gets a kill. And I decide the least useful Pokemon on my team is Scarf Iron Bundle. So that gets sacked. And they reveal leftovers. Down goes Iron Bundle. And I can just click Wave Crash now. Pretty much get a kill. They sack Belly Bolt, which is great. It was hard for Quaquaval to set up with that thing around. So it being dead is great. Quaquaval can kind of Swords Dance on Gambit, Corv, and Mola as long as Gambit isn't Terra Fairy, which I think is one of the 2 good types into me. In comes Mola. It can live a wave crash, but it can't live two, so it's kind of forced to click Wish here. So I bring a Kyogre to start clicking Thunder. They Wish, that's fine. They go Core of this that gets to a KO'd even including Wish. It is max BDF, so it will live one Thunder. But after the Wish, it doesn't get quite healthy enough to live the next. And I do get the Para, which is nice. They are Protect to stall out an extra rain turn. Doesn't really matter in the long run. In comes King Gambit, which I figured because you're not going to go Lugia and try to Calm Mind in front of me. Because you die. Or it's a roll. And then obviously not Mola, so King Gambit comes in. If this thing gets a Swords Dance, as I switch, and it's Terra Fairy, it's out of range of Jet Punch, and I have no more priority. And then Sucker Punch kills Kyogre, and then Terra Blast Fairy kills Quaquaval. So it would be pretty bad for me. But if I Thunder, I put this thing in range of Palafin, which is great. Because my switch in is obviously Quaquaval. So I just stay in and Thunder, because if I switch Quaquaval and they Terra Fairy, Swords Dance, or just Terra Blast, really bad for me. So I just Thunder. As they predict me to go Quaquaval, and in comes Lugia. Tells me they're probably not Terra Fairy, because I think you don't care if Quaquaval comes in if you are. So I think they're Terra Dark at this point. But I'm still going to be careful with Terra Fairy. Lugia gets sacked, which is fantastic for me. Suddenly the team's very slow. I have Choice Band Palafin in the rain, and nothing's faster. They do have Protect on Mola though, or they haven't revealed it, but spoilers, they do. And Quaquaval's also faster than everything, and Close Combat really has no switch in. So that sack really put me back in the game. It was looking pretty bad for a bit, but looking a bit better now. I do have to be careful around this King Gambit though, because Terra Dark Sucker Punch just kills Kyogre from here. And then Palafin is not in range of yet, or Palafin can't kill it yet, so they can just Sucker Punch me. Although they have to predict if I'm going to Jet Punch or Close Combat or Wave Crash or whatever. But anyways, in comes King Gambit. Rain's gone. I may as well save Rain. I don't want to Thunder without Rain up, so I go into Quaquaval as they kowtow, which is fine. They're max attack, or close to it. In comes Mola as I just Close Combat. I click Close Combat this turn, because even if they're Terra Fairy, it would put them in range of Palafin Jet Punch, so I'd be alright. Close Combat gets clicked, I don't quite to a KO, so I switch into Kyogre as they flip turn. In comes King Gambit, which will just kill me with Sucker Punch even without Terra Dark. But this Mola is chipped down. It now dies to 2 Wave Crashes, although I can't really flick Wave Crash as Gambit kills me here because they just kill me with Sucker Punch. So down goes Kyogre, and Palafin comes in. I could have gone Quaquaval here, but the problem is if they are Terra Fairy still, I click Close Combat into them, not kill them, and I Jet Punch, which would kill them. But then Banded Jet Punch will never beat Mola because they have Wish. So I go into Palafin here to click Jet Punch. Very obviously a King Gambit switch here. I thought about clicking Wave Crash on the Predict to Mola, which would 2-hit KO them. But that still puts me in a bad spot. Because, okay, Mola gets sacked, King Gambit comes in. If they Terra Blast Fairy on the switch to Quaquaval, or you can just Terra Dark Kowtow Cleave, that might even kill. Quaquaval dies, and they're not in range of Jet Punch if Rain ends. So anyways, all that to say, I click Jet Punch into Mola here, the obvious Mola switch in. Which will not 2-hit KO them, but that's okay. It'll 2-hit KO them now, which forces them to Wish, which gives me a free switch into Quaquaval. From here, Close Combat could kill them, I believe. How much did Close Combat do last turn? 32. Yeah, so Close Combat kills them. So I figure they probably want to protect if they have it. So I click Swords Dance this turn as they protect. That Swords Dance is big. It means I can now kill King Gambit with Aqua Step, and I don't have to predict Terra Fairy in Close Combat. I can just safely click Aqua Step into it. I still need to stay out of range of it though. If they're max attack, Adamant, Terra Dark, Sucker Punch, they do 50% to me. So as long as I stay above 50%, I'm good. but I probably have to kill this Mola with close combat, so I need to stay above 75%. I click Swords Dance again. If they're play rough, it will not kill me. As they wish again, that's fine. They protect as I roost, just to stay healthy. May as well prevent crits if I can. So close combat's a roll here. I think it is 96% minimum. But I decide that just Swords Dance again. I don't have a big reason not to. I could have Aqua Step to kill this thing over a couple turns, but they can probably just Wish Protect that forever. So I close combat to kill them, which is going to put me at -1 defense, but King Gambit still cannot kill me. And even if they do, they're in range of Jet Punch after the spike. So now that Mola's dead, Jet Punch is pretty much a guaranteed win. They Sucker Punch, which is 55%. They were Terra Dark, they just didn't click it. So if had they clicked Terra Dark, Sucker Punch, and crit me, that would have killed. But Palafin would have just came in to clean up anyways. So there's week 2, a much closer game than last week. Very exciting game. I thought at multiple points in that game that I could not win that game. I didn't think I'd be able to break Mola, and King Gambit would have just swept me late game. Or Lugia would have just swept me after I sacked Iron Bundle. But Lugia getting sacked really put me back into the game. Very happy with the Quaquaval set. Covert Cloak did nothing this game, but I'll take it. Still really happy that Swords Dance Roost worked out pretty well. And the rest of the team was pretty good too. Bundle didn't do a whole lot. Kyogre was fantastic. That Thunder is pressure, so it didn't actually click 10 Thunders, but it clicked quite a few. And Samurai was great as well. First time I've ever brought this thing to a game, and it hit both its ceaseless edges, so we'll take it. That's week 2. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.